Hi,
Hello.
welcome to the Misfit Vegan podcast. Okay, so guys, we're here with Barbie, and Barbie, we didn't think of a name of this show. It's like, I guess it's just another episode, but I think we should have a name for the show. Oh Lord. Barbie will get back to you guys on the name for the show. So welcome to the show. So I'm going to be doing a weekly show with my friend Barbie, also known as Raw Vegan Barbie. And I'm really grateful to her that she said yes because she's really smart. She's doing this raw vegan lifestyle and she's doing it in a way that I really look up to. She's very eats very simple. She makes very simple dressings, and I really aspire to be more like her. And so she's also very knowledgeable, and specifically on the topic we're going to talk about today. So let's start the first episode, which is going to be once a week, hopefully, if you guys like it and if Barbie agrees. And so today's episode is going to be about the starch solution. I'm really grateful, Barbie, because I've never read it. So I'm guessing you have read it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good, very good. And so, okay, all right, let's rewind. Barbie, can you please tell everyone about your experience with the solution and why you decided to go to the raw vegan lifestyle?
Okay. Um, well, I became vegan like 17 or 18 years ago, and quickly became whole food plant-based accidentally because I bought a book on nutrition because I didn't know how to be vegan, and it turned out it was a healthy book. So anyway, I learned how to eat healthy
You
without,
got lucky.
yeah,
Yeah.
without knowing about junk food. So I got healthy, and then I was like, "What? What's happening? All these bad symptoms went away." And then I found McDougall, Dr. McDougall online. I just started researching. So, yeah, he was the first one I found. And I started doing his diet and, you know, cut out the oil. And my health improved so much. I lost weight. I mean, so many things. My heart disease went away, just hemorrhoids. I mean, you name it,
Hmm.
gum disease. So, obviously, it works.
Well,
And
wow. Sorry. So gum disease. Yeah, that got reversed on the starch solution.
yes,
Wow.
I think it's because animal products make your body acidic, and so then your mouth is more acidic, and then the
Yeah.
bacteria get in there. Yeah, I had pretty bad gum disease.
That is so, wow, that is incredible. Okay, so, all right, continue. Sorry. I just think that's incredible because they say, certain things are not reversible. And it's like, well, yes, they are actually. So that's really cool.
Yeah, so then I just started following all the guys, all the whole food plant-based people. I started following Furman for a while, but I got a little addicted to the nutty datey desserts on Furman. So then I
Hmm.
kind of went back to the low fat, which is more McDougall, but then I kind of got addicted to the low fat muffins. So clearly I had a sugar problem, and then I kind of went and tried some food addiction programs. I tried and Chef AJ's program I think is the one that really worked best for me, and because it's low fat, but then it's also no sugar, and avoiding the dried fruit, avoiding the nuts. Um, so that really worked well for me, and that's also almost identical to Dr. McDougall's maximum weight loss plan.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I kind of looked to McDougall and AJ as my mentors, as the ones as the path that worked. And so it was only accidental that I started eating raw, and that was only a few years ago. And it was because I broke my kneecap and had surgery, and the recovery was kind of difficult. And a friend
Hmm.
of mine said, and I really needed to reduce the inflammation so I could get my mobility back, because there's like a time period when you need to get your mobility back or you may never get it back. So I was trying really hard to bend my leg and it was hurting so much. And a friend of mine said, let me turn off that sound. A friend of mine said, well, I've heard a raw diet will help with inflammation because it's very hydrating. So, so that summer I just started eating tons of watermelon and just watermelon and vegetables, fruits and vegetables. And I felt so great. And and it really helped my knee and I got all my mobility back. So I thought that was really cool. So then I took that nutrition course from the Dinas, Rick and Karen Dina, and learned
Mm-hmm.
about it. And then I was just experimenting back and forth, going from raw to cooked just to see, because in their course I was kind of learning, well, you still get lots of nutrients from beans and other things. And so, but every time I went back to cooked, I just felt more tired. And so yeah, I think it was just by accident and experiment that I just decided I like raw better because I just feel so much more energetic and I just feel better all around. So yeah, I don't have any science to back it up. Just
Yes. Even though you are a rocket scientist, ladies and gentlemen, I did not introduce you as that. But okay, so now basically, all right, so you started eating a lot of watermelon and now all of a sudden you have a podcast with me. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you start eating watermelon, I will manifest into your life somehow. And so now, of course, I am Barbie's guru, of course,
mm-hmm.
biggest mentor. She's my best mentee. And no, I'm just kidding. But okay, so the starch solution. So the reason that I really wanted to address this is because from what I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the starch solution, you're he's really recommending you get your bulk of your calories from potatoes, rice, lentils, corn, pasta, and
Mm-hmm.
beans, I guess, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oats. Okay. So all of the starches. Okay. In the book, Barbie, does he talk about fruit and does he talk about why he doesn't recommend the bulk of your fuel, the bulk of your calories come from fruit?
Yes.
Okay.
You
Because
want
I can't understand it for the life of me. And I'm so happy you're here because I am assuming you have his book in front of you, highlighted with all marker, with bookmarks, post-its, and
well, not quite that. I couldn't find my hard copy of the book, but I have it on Kindle. So I just went and I did a search on fruit, and I just um,
ah,
extracted
amazing.
extracts on there. So I
Amazing.
can give you some quotes from the book, so we get straight from the horse's mouth.
I would love to. Yes. And by the way, guys, I think I am going to be interviewing Dr. McDougall very, very soon. So I'm really excited. I'm going to try not to ruin the potential of me interviewing him with this podcast, but I'm very curious the whole uh, no, no fruit thing or like very little fruit. So educate me, Barbie. What does he say about fruit?
Okay. And yeah, we can use this material to generate questions for him, maybe.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes.
so he says, um, fruits offer quick burning energy, mostly in the form of simple sugars, but little of that slow burning, sustaining starch. As a result, fruits alone won't satisfy our appetites for very long. So that's one of his uh, things that he says a fair amount.
Okay, so we'll stop there. That's a good point. Now, I'm wondering because I've never been on the starch solution personally, but I have definitely eaten my share of potatoes, rice, what corn, pasta. Oh my gosh, yeah, I ate a lot of pasta. But I'm wondering your opinion on what he just said, which is, it's fruit is not slow burning and so it doesn't satisfy you and it doesn't give you energy for a sustainable amount of time. How do you feel about this statement?
I think there probably is some truth to that, but there's also a downside. Is like when I eat starch, I get very tired because I think it's harder to digest, and so then my body needs, I don't know, I guess it's working
Yes.
harder. And so yeah, it does sustain you for longer, but it also makes me more tired. So I prefer fruits. And so then all you have to do is just eat more of them. And if you want, you can eat more often. Um, I think you just have to eat enough fruit and then you'll be plenty satisfied.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
mean
think?
he's recommending complex carbohydrates, um, which are complicated to digest, and that's taking energy away from our body. So I agree. I mean, simple carbohydrates like fruit digest simply. And so, yeah, maybe we get hungrier sooner, but we have more energy because we're not using it to digest our food. I think the point of being alive is use to use as little energy as possible on digestion so we can have as much energy as possible to do things physically and also to heal our body. Like a lot of people are suffering now because the body has no energy left after digesting its food, right? The body has no energy left to go to work on the things that need to be done. It's like your body's a house and the house has repairs that need to be done. But if the workers are tired because you gave them so much work, then of course they're not going to get to all the other stuff. So I really like that you said about your knee. I love that you healed your knee, Barbie, because I didn't even realize it, but I healed my knee as well on a raw food diet. But it was just like one of those things that was like at the bottom of the list of repairs, that needed to be
Mm-hmm.
made. But I had such bad knee pain my whole entire life and never had it since going raw. And I kind of didn't even realize that it healed. So, um, yeah, I just think that the overall healing of the body happens so much better on a raw food diet. And I know people lose weight and I know people do heal on a starch based diet, but I just think that there is a big problem with not recommending fruit or starch. Okay, so let's continue down the rabbit hole here. What else does he say about fruit, Barbie Boo?
Okay. Well, I think this next section I'll go through kind of, I think, is sort of the basis of his philosophy on eating starches.
Hmm.
So, um, so he says that he goes and talks about the natural diet of our closest relative, the chimpanzee, is almost purely vegetarian, made up of mostly of fruits, leaves, and perishable vegetable matter. In the dry seasons, when fruit is scarce, chimps eat nuts, seeds, flowers, and bark. So that's our closest relative, and it's kind of similar to a raw vegan diet. Um, and then he says, genetic testing has demonstrated that humans thrive best on starch. Um, I'm not quite sure I get where the best comes from, but he says human and chimpanzee DNA is roughly identical. One of the minor differences is that our genes help us to digest more starch, a crucial evolutionary adjustment.
Hmm.
And then, we're able to digest starch. And then he also says, as early humans ventured north and south from Africa to colonize the rest of the planet, we relied on our ability to eat starchy tubers and grains for concentrated calories to last through the winter after the fruits of summer and fall were gone. So, and these starchy foods were widely available around the world and easy to gather and so on. So basically, as we ventured out into the rest of the world, we became starch eaters.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just okay. Let me just interrupt here because
okay.
I'm just going to be honest, Barbie. This is my opinion. I'm just going to keep it real. I think that the starch solution is great, but it's the easy way out. Okay, this is my opinion. So I think, and I want to know what you think about this, but a starch solution is probably way, way easier and more realistic for the average person to go on, right? Because they can do the rice and the beans and the potatoes and the corn and the pasta, and that is cheap and that is available all year round, no matter where you live. And so, yeah, it's way healthier than any other processed food diet, than animal products, than all the crap that people are eating out there. Um, but it's not the best diet on earth. Okay, it's not the best. It clearly can't be the best because this stuff is not alive. This stuff is like dead pasta. And it's just like, okay, so I understand what he's doing. He's making it possible for people to mm, easily, very kind of lazily get healthy. If does that make sense, Barbie? Because tell me, you've been on both diets, and yeah, the raw food diet takes probably more money, yeah, and more planning and more prioritization. But I want to know your opinion on the benefits because, I mean, you already said it, you feel much better. But like, do you think that that's what he's doing here? He's promoting this diet to make it like easy or sustainable for like the lazy person out there?
Um, I'm not sure I'd go with the lazy part. Just
I just continue.
well, it's just that for the last 10,000 years, um, I think that's the time period he's talking about. So the
Hmm.
healthiest populations throughout the world for the last 10,000 years were eating a starch-based diet. And so clearly it is the healthiest diet if you can't get fruit, in my
Wait, there
opinion.
were no raw vegans in the
Uh,
last 10,000 years?
well, no, but I
Where's the
don't
book
know.
on that, Barbie?
I don't
Should we
know.
write it?
Yeah, maybe. But most of the healthy populations ate starch because they weren't living in the tropics. That's why. And so they
Right,
only had
right, right,
access
right,
to starches. So
right. Okay,
so if you don't have access to fruit, then I think it is the healthiest diet. It's just that now with modern transportation,
correct.
we have access to the diet of our ancestors. And also, I don't think it's harder to be raw, but then I eat very simply. But I just think it's so easy. I don't have to do any cooking. I don't have pots and pans getting dirty.
Oh, it's so much easier. Oh, yeah. No, it is. But the thing is, people don't, like for some reason, if you buy 2 boxes of pasta, Barbie, there's nothing wrong. But if you buy 10 bananas, you must have a monkey in your house. Like there must be something wrong. There must
Oh,
be
okay.
something strange. And
Socially, right?
yeah,
Okay.
that. And also people are just you have to learn, you have to, rotate the fruit because
Yes. Yes.
a box of pasta can just like grab it out of the cupboard
I
and
see.
everything's that's what I mean. It's not
Right.
harder. It's just like you're going to choose your hard, okay? You're going to choose to learn about how to rotate your fruit and how to prioritize and how to know when things are ripe, or you're going to choose to have some health issues that you can't really resolve because you refuse to eat your species specific diet.
Right.
That's my
Okay. So
opinion.
yes, I get you there. And so there is a learning curve.
Yeah.
But okay, here's another thing. I was trying to eat a really clean whole food plant-based diet. That is really hard. That's just as hard socially. You can't when someone wants to cook you a meal, they aren't going to make it salt, oil, and sugar free. And so it's in my view, it's actually easier being raw socially because I just say, I'm just going to eat raw fruits and vegetables, and everyone understands what that means. They don't.
Yeah, right, right, right. There's not as much uh caveats and nuances. Are those the words? I don't
Yeah,
know. But yeah, it's like okay, it's very clear if it's a fruit or vegetable and it's raw, I eat it. So people can know what to because people are do not understand what whole foods plant-based, SOS free, low fat, like this is
right,
like a whole different language. But like raw fruit and vegetables, people have it. Yeah, for me, for Christmas, people had carrots and cantaloupe and they had stuff that they knew what to buy. Right, good
yeah.
point.
They're easier to train. They're easier to train on a raw diet than on a whole food plant
Yeah, the
based diet.
humans. Right, right, right.
Right.
And so, okay, yeah, I hate sorry if anybody out there's listening and they're on the starch solution and I called you lazy. Sorry about that, but basically I think that you are. I think that you are because it's very obvious to me that we've always known, Barbie, that fresh fruit and vegetables are the healthiest foods on earth. We've always known this. But yet it's like I don't know why we've been kind of like manipulated to think now nobody's ever going to argue about fresh vegetables, but the fresh fruit, Barbie, people have been manipulated in society to think that there's something wrong with it. It's too sweet, it's going to cause diabetes. And so I think the starch solution kind of came in and like, okay, you can eat all this starch and well, does he recommend vegetables?
Yeah. So he recommends the diet dominated by starch, and then um, here's a quote. Grains and legumes aren't quite so complete as potatoes as far as providing all your nutritional needs. So to add a small dose of vitamin A and C, you can eat a little fruit or green and yellow vegetables, and then you've got everything you need. So yeah. So he and then later says fruits offer a sweet addition, a punctuating conclusion to a meal, or a satisfying between meal snack.
Um, Another thing I have, the problem is we are what we eat. And Barbie knows this, but I'm just talking to the person listening because it's like, all right, well, if you look at a beautiful bowl of fresh fruit and vegetables, and then you look at a plate of baked potatoes, it's just like, which one do you want to look like? Which one do you want to feel like? It's just like the fruit is so beautiful. And yeah, the potatoes aren't gonna, they're probably not gonna cause disease in your body. And yeah, you could lose weight on it. But don't you want to look and feel vibrant and glowing and alive? Those potatoes are dead. Oh, Barbie, don't get me started. Did I talk to you about the microwave situation?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Uh, I don't know.
Okay. So
You mentioned
basically,
something. You mentioned something,
basically,
but
I just found out that Dr. Greger recommends using a microwave now. Like he says it's totally healthy and there's nothing wrong with it. And so does John McDougall also recommend using a microwave?
probably.
Probably. How can I trust anyone that uses a microwave in 2023? How can I possibly take any health advice from them? Or is it just me, Barbie? What's your opinion on the microwave?
Um, well, up until a year ago, I was following all those whole food plant-based
Oh,
guys, and they all said it was okay. So I just assumed if they said it was okay, then it's okay. And what I've heard
thank God I'm
recently,
your guru now. Thank God you have me.
what I've heard recently is that radiation does leak out of it, and so just don't stand too close to it.
But
Um,
eat the food from it? I
well,
can't.
yeah, according,
I
yeah,
can't.
so just the way radiation interacts with matter, I'm just, uh, you're cooking the food. That's what you're doing. So, but I don't think you're not adding harmful um, nuclear particles to them or anything. You're just cooking them. So it's the cooking that's harmful to us because the radiation can cook us. That's why we have to stay away from it.
Did you deal with radiation in your job?
In one job I did, yeah, but that was nuclear radiation, so that was serious business.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm just gonna say that I will never, ever, ever eat any microwave food ever again because it just doesn't, my common sense tells me, and I don't need to be a rocket scientist to know. My common sense right now is telling me it just like it doesn't make me feel healthy. It doesn't make me feel confident. This box that I'm putting in numbers and it's putting some, it's like changing the molecular structure of the food in order to be hot. It just, there's no heat involved. This is very strange, right? Like there's no heat involved. It's waves, right?
Yeah, it's microwaves, and they
Yeah.
when they interact with matter, it heats it up.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable or confident in that. But hey, do you boo, whoever's out there using a microwave, but I would never do it. And I haven't used a microwave or eaten microwave food since 2000 and I think it was 2010. Yeah. So, no, wait. I'm sorry. 2000, the year 2000. Yeah, that's better. So basically, it's the first thing I learned about health. And I threw away my mom's microwave because I was just like, this is really, really dangerous. So, okay, so let's continue. Is there anything else that's really about fruit in this starch solution? By the way, the starch solution was written in 2012, just so you guys are aware.
Um, there is something else that I'm confused about. Uh, let me see if I before I get to that. Yeah, okay. Right. So it's kind of a common in the whole food plant-based community to think of fruit as, yeah, as your dessert, one or two servings.
Wow.
And then so but then there's this other book he wrote, Maximum Weight Loss, which is essentially Chef AJ's program, which is the one I followed. And so in that program, you're also supposed to eat a starch-based diet, but less, but avoid the flour products, avoid the sugars,
Mm-hmm.
avoid the nuts. Um, but here in that book, here's a quote from that, which I feel contradicts what he said. Okay, remember the very first quote I said, fruits offer quick burning energy
Yes.
in simple sugars, and it doesn't sustain you. Okay, so then here's what he said in Maximum Weight Loss. This would be a question you could ask him if you interview him. With fruit is that it's so tasty, you could eat 20 pieces a day and in the process consume an extra 1,000 to 2,000 calories, which will, of course, slow weight loss. And then he says fruit sugar causes significant increases in blood fats in some people, and so
Wait,
on.
fruit causes increase of blood fats?
Yeah, triglycerides in some people.
How,
But
could that
I
be
think,
true? That can't be true.
well, I think Robbie and Cyrus can probably have a counter argument to that. I mean, yes, if you've just come off of a the kind of diet, the American diet, and so your body's full of fat, all your cells are full of fat, then I could see where that'd be a problem. But if you're eating a low fat diet, I don't know why that would be worse than a muffin, a McDougal muffin.
Right. Well, you just said it right there, Barbie. Okay. He's going to
But
recommend a McDougal muffin over an apple because he doesn't own an apple. He didn't write the apple solution. He didn't write the book called The Fruit Solution. He wrote a book called The Starch Solution. And no hate, right? No hate on him, do you boo? But oh, well, that's why I'm working on the Eat Fruit Be Cute diet book. Yeah, right, right. Because it's just like, well, I have a feeling, and hey, I love him and I've learned so much from him, but I have a feeling that he's recommending the starch solution because it is his book. It's his, diet. And he's just going to continue recommending what he has put out there and marketed into the world. But like in reality, could we ever argue, Barbie, that potatoes are healthier than bananas? Like, is this does this make sense to
well,
anyone?
I mean, if you asked McDougal or Gregor, they'd probably say, well, if you go into Chronometer, potatoes have
Mm.
more minerals than bananas and blah blah blah. But I guess instinctively when I look at them, I'll choose the banana over the potato. Um, it, it's
Yeah.
just but there's something that just still confuses me though. So what he said on in the starch solution was that the fruit won't satisfy you, and what he's saying in maximum weight loss is don't eat too much fruit because it's so tasty you can end up consuming a lot of calories from it. um, and and then you'll slow your weight loss, but that's because you're eating all the potatoes too. But what if you just ate the fruit instead of the potatoes? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. I
And
think
then the fruit,
yeah.
like he said, the fruit is so tasty. Exactly, that's why I want to eat fruit.
And by the way, let's not forget, John McDougall recommends salt. Am I correct?
Yes, I mean small,
Okay.
not a lot, but
But you're the one, actually, you put me on because remember, I've never been on the starch solution, but you're the one who put me on to, or many of my clients, they've been on this diet and it's like it doesn't taste good without salt, right? Like
right.
it's very hard to eat a completely salt-free diet if you're eating mostly cooked food.
That Yeah, I found it pretty bland. Yes.
Yeah, potatoes without okay, now sweet potatoes, yes, but regular potatoes and pasta and rice without salt, it's just so bland. And why would we want to live like this? And by the way, he has another book called The Healthiest Diet on the Planet. Have you read this one, Barbie?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you have. So now the healthiest diet on the planet, he can't be is that's obviously the starch solution, right? So it's about like eating
Hmm.
pasta and potatoes and things like that. And how can we possibly say, uh, here's the thing, Barbie, I'm nervous for my interview because I'm going to use my non-scientific common sense. Like the fruit is so much more beautiful. The fruit tastes so much better. I don't have to cook it. I don't have to change the molecular structure of it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to salt it. I don't have to put oil on it or sugar on it for it to taste good. And he's going to use the science, but I'm going to use my common sense. So which one should we go with, Barbie? Miss Scientist?
Um, well, I'm
I
going,
don't know.
for me, I'm going with experience, which then I
Yeah.
combine with science because my experience is, wow, I feel so much better on a raw diet. And then I could say, well, but so this is the diet. We haven't evolved that much in the last 10,000 years. We evolved for 2 million years in the rainforest eating fruit. That's when we
Mm.
became human. So for the last
Mm.
10,000 years, we spread out over the earth. The only food we had access to was starch. And so our bodies learned how to digest starch, but it doesn't mean it's the healthiest food for us. It just means we learned to survive. And now with modern shipping, we can get back to the environment that we had when we were in the rainforest. Even though I'm living in Wisconsin, I can have all these delicious fruits every day. And yes, it is probably more expensive, but on the other hand, I don't buy alcohol, I don't buy Starbucks coffees, I don't
Right, right. You
buy
just
in,
reallocating your money.
yeah, I don't
Right.
buy insulin and all these other things. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do people even understand how expensive x-rays are, doctor's appointments, prescription pills, taking time off work? How about the expense, Barbie, of not living your dream life? How about the expense of regret? Okay. And missing family gatherings and missing events and not being able to live your life and have fun and do whatever you want and climb up mountains and run on the beach and swim in the ocean. What about the cost of that? Not,
and just the cost of being tired all the time and then needing caffeine to wake you up in the morning and then alcohol to make you feel better at night to make the coffee go away.
yeah, yeah. You know what? Great point. There's well, I mean, you're just adding to my point, which is the cost of your life. You know, like you're literally sacrificing your life in order to stay eating the food that you think you love. But like when you start eating fruit, literally you start loving that too. Because it's whatever you're eating, you love it, right? Because you want to survive and naturally humans need calories. And so you start eating something that tastes good. Okay. And you just want to eat more of that. And so, Barbie, so everybody doesn't know you're a fraud. I'm curious, what did you have for breakfast this morning? No, because
Oh,
I want them to know you're no fake.
it just took me a second to I somehow interpreted that the other way. No, I'm not a fraud. Okay. Um I had um I had a grapefruit and two tangerines and um some strawberries, and I had, oh yeah, a kiwi, and then a half of a iceberg lettuce, because you know how I just like to eat iceberg lettuce, and
Yeah.
some vegetables, and now I've got a bunch of berries and mango and bananas thawing, which I'll have for lunch.
I didn't know you were so wild. Hold on. That's a lot of different fruits. Hold on. I thought you were my idol, but because you eat so, you know what you really do that I'm envying or that I want to do is the simple dressings. That's what you do. Because I mean, I do mono meals. I like mono meals for breakfast. So I had a half a watermelon for breakfast personally. However, your dressings are truly goals because Barbie, tell everyone your favorite dressing.
Well, okay, but I don't think of it as better. It's just more like lazy. Okay, so um, I like mango with a little bit of hemp seed and lemon juice blended up. That's my favorite.
Crazy. Guys,
And
that's
then I
amazing.
heard, I heard Doug Graham say he won a salad dressing contest with blueberries and celery. So I tried that the other night, and it was really good,
I
which
can't
is
imagine that being
surprising.
good. I
I
can't
know.
believe that's good. Guys out there, everybody out there, make that dressing, blueberries and what's the ratio, Barbie?
More blueberries to celery. I don't know what
Okay,
his ratio
okay.
is, but that's what I did.
Oh my goodness. Barbie, you once sent me a chart of the combinations from Doug Graham
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I gotta do it. I haven't done it yet because I'm just a creature of habit. And I've just been making the same dressings pretty much, the same 5 dressings for like 12 years. And all of them are nut or seed based with, spices and dates and garlic and lemon and the whole shebang. And it's just like, honestly, I've really outgrown it. That was my first, decade. Okay. And like now I really find myself wanting to be way more simple. And the dressings you do are really, really what I want. And I just got to get into the better habit of it. I know you put me onto a dressing of raspberry and something. Was it celery too?
Yeah, I think there
Probably.
was celery.
So simple. And it was really, really good. And your mango lemon hemp seed dressing, I have not tried yet, but I bet it's delicious. But where do you get mangoes from? You get them frozen?
Yeah, Costco. And unfortunately,
Smart, smart.
there's a lot of, I mean, I waste a lot because I don't like the white parts. Like I take my Costco bag and I dump it out, and then I take out the parts that don't look ripe. So I waste a lot.
I
You know
wouldn't
what I
call it
mean?
waste. I call it you prioritize your health.
And it
Sorry.
tastes. It'll just taste better if
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah, absolutely. When I used to make smoothies, so I used to run a smoothie place in New York, and when I used to train employees, like nobody ever took my advice because like they didn't care. But when I made smoothies, when I hopped on the smoothie bar, I would never ever make smoothies with the unripe pieces of pineapple or mango because I wanted my customer to get an amazing smoothie, right? This might be their only chance at experiencing a plant-based smoothie. So I needed it to be 10 out of 10 amazing. And when you make smoothies with unripe fruit, it's not going to taste good. And plus, you're going to have indigestion or some gas or bloating because unripe fruit is not for human consumption. So I don't consider that a waste, Barbie. Oh, and by the way, I changed my language. I don't call myself lazy anymore. I say I like things to be simple because
Mm,
I used to say
okay.
that I was lazy. But the truth is, Barbie, you're like legit one of the least lazy people on earth because you're constantly learning, you're exercising every day, you're climbing up mountains. Your last name is Whitney, right? Is your middle name Mount? It's Barbie
No,
Mount
but
Whitney.
I really wish I could climb Mount Whitney. That's on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket list too because Goggins, he climbed it in Badwater 135 race. It
Oh,
ends
wow.
at Mount Whitney, I think. And yeah, I want to go there one day for sure. Okay, we've kind of deviated because this is just how I do. And let me see the time. Okay, so it's 37:37. Not bad. Um, Barbie,
Well,
yes,
can I tell you one more thing for me,
please.
the difference between whole food plant-based and raw?
Oh, yes, please, please.
Okay. Um, it's that, and maybe it's just me, because I know a lot of people really struggle with cravings on raw. Um, and so maybe it's just me, but since I was really clean whole food plant-based before going raw, for me, raw is tastes better. And but it not
Mm,
just that, it's more distant from the processed foods. It's just that one step further away from processed foods. So
mm-hmm.
like when I was whole food plant-based and I was eating potatoes and rice and beans, and then um, I would be tempted by restaurant food. Um, and so the other day, Marilyn showed me a newspaper article that with all the new vegan restaurants in my town, and I read it, and I just, and there's this really fancy one that's super duper high fancy, and then there's a fast food one, and and the and I just thought, yeah, I'm not tempted because they're cooked and I eat raw. I don't know, somehow in the past that would have been so tempting, oh, I want to go try those. And I don't know why, but for some reason I really like fruit and I'm satisfied. And plus it's just that one step removed so that it wouldn't just be a step, it wouldn't just be, oh, I'm eating potatoes and now I'm going to go to this restaurant and eat potatoes with oil and salt. It'd be like, I don't eat potatoes.
Right, right.
I don't know if I'm explaining it, but somehow I just don't have all the temptations I had before for
Y-
the junk food, for the processed food.
Yeah, I can. Okay, so people might not know this, but Barbie and I are both former food addicts. And so, if you are also a food addict, a former food addict, or a current one, then following specific guidelines and having strict boundaries is actually easier than not. Okay. So, like, I think that's what you're saying, right, Barbie? Because,
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
so.
because that's
Yeah.
how I feel. When I found the raw food diet, I found a solution, okay? Speaking of the starch solution, I found the real solution to my food addiction because I could finally know exactly what I can eat, what tastes amazing. Like I'm not missing anything. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling satisfied, and I'm not feeling deprived. But I also have specific things I eat and specific things I don't eat. And so when Barbie just said that, it made me realize, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you're eating potatoes at home, it's going to be way easier to eat potatoes at a restaurant or eat French fries, even. But if you don't eat potatoes, then you don't eat potatoes. If you don't eat cooked
Right.
food, then you don't eat cooked food. And you know what? I'm going to change my language when it comes to the raw food diet too, Barbie, because it's not hard. You're right. It's a learning curve. It's a learning
Yeah.
curve. And you can't also the thing that has to be is that you can't be perfect. So if somebody's listening to this and they really want to be raw, because most people that follow me do want to be raw or high raw, well, you're going to have to understand that, okay, if you eat fruit and vegetables, well, sometimes it's not going to be organic. That has to be okay with you, right? Like Barbie, are you
Hmm.
100% organic?
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, can't be. You can't be. Barbie travels, Barbie lives in the real world. You can't be 100% perfect, but you can be 100% healthy, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Barbie, how long have you been on the raw food diet?
Uh, 10 months. And then, but before that, I was, I transitioned for about a year on and off experimenting, going
Wow,
back and
that's
forth.
amazing. Yes, yes, yes. And okay, so do you crave cooked food at the moment?
No, I probably did a little bit in the first month.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so, and I know maybe that's unusual, or maybe it's just a honeymoon period, and I will in a year or something.
Well, I personally have experienced that the more time that has passed since I've had cooked food, the less I want it. But see, right now, if somebody's in my house cooking and it smells amazing and they're like, and I have no fruit in the house or I'm bored or I'm really hungry, right? Well, if I try that cooked food, I'll really like it and I'll probably eat more of it. So you have to understand, you have to prioritize. Like, I'm not talking to you, Barbie. I'm talking to the listener. You have to prioritize having your food around, filling up on fruit and vegetables, and know that, hey, you have the option to eat that cooked food, but that is a slippery slope, like Barbie was saying. And like cooked food is the number one addiction on earth. The number one addiction on earth. What would Dr. McDougall say about that, Barbie, if I presented that to him?
Hmm. Oh,
Does
that's a
he
good
think cooked
question.
food is addicting or
He
addictive?
probably, I don't know, but he might say that cooked processed foods addicting, but cooked whole foods are only addicting in the sense that you enjoy them and eat them and are healthy and eat to satiation. I don't know. I don't know what he would say, but that's
Tell
a
me
thought.
tell me your experience real quick about overeating on starches versus overeating on fruit. Have you done both and what is your experience?
I think it's just that I like to overeat anyway.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
And so overeating on starches, it's more calories generally, unless I'm just eating bananas. But and so then I just get more. I get over full because I'll binge like it's sort of. I mean, I'll overeat on sweet potatoes, but then I'll it'll be too much, or overeating on red beans and rice, and it's too many calories, and I feel really yucky. Whereas it's kind of hard to overeat on fruit, or you overeat and then, but it's just not that many calories, and then you're done. And I don't know, it just doesn't. And also, I don't even know that I'm overeating. No, okay, I overeat more on on starch than I do on fruit, and I maybe it's because it wasn't as satisfying. I mean, fine. I love the taste.
Yeah, it's not as satisfying. I totally agree. We have a sweet tooth, and the starches are
Yeah.
not sweet at all. They don't even taste, they're not salty, they're not sweet. What are they, Barbie? Like, I'm confused.
Well, that's why you end up with all these recipes where you add a bunch of spices and
Right,
and often,
right.
in the less restrictive programs, you add maple syrup and some salt, and you get it to taste better.
It, in conclusion, if anybody out there has a food addiction, I would highly recommend you try the raw food diet before you start trying the starch solution diet, because I can just see myself back in the day trying this diet and just like eating so much more because I wasn't satisfied, right? Eating so much more potatoes and rice, which are good, but at the end of the day, it's not sweet, and we need sweet. We need it. That's what our body runs on. That's what our brain runs on. And if you have a food addiction, it's just like you're trying to get your dopamine, which I don't recommend, right? Like, let's be clear. I don't recommend you get your dopamine from food. That's the that's
Hmm.
the thing we really want to deal with. We want to get our dopamine from other things, like having fun and working out and achieving goals and setting goals and doing other things that we're passionate about. Even doing this podcast, I get dopamine from now. I get dopamine from doing lots of other things now. I used to just get it from food. Was that your experience too, Barbie?
Yeah, and actually,
Yeah.
about I'm not lazy, so I'm going to reframe that too, and I'm going to say I just have things I want to do besides
Yes. Yes, yes,
do
yes.
food prep.
Yeah, I've been saying I'm lazy for years, but then Barbie, I think to myself, "Wait a minute. Like if I look at my schedule, like even just this morning, there's no way that I could be called like the definition of lazy, it can't be me. And it's definitely not you.
Hmm.
So like let's just stop this nonsense. And also the listener, I want you to think about your words and also just like are they true? Because they're probably not even true. And yeah. So anyway, just back to the dopamine real quick. It's just like I feel very strongly that I would overeat and I wouldn't lose weight on the starch solution. So now that's my question. How did you lost weight on the starch solution, Barbie?
Well, I did at first because um, I was just eating the same amount of food that I ate when I was eating the standard American diet, and it was less calories.
Mm.
So I lost
Mhm.
weight just accidentally, because you end up eating more volumes on the less
'Cause it's
processed you
lower
get.
calories.
Yeah,
Right, right.
and I and then I but then my weight came back, and then I only succeeded when I kind of did like Chef AJ's program, which was pretty strict. So no sugar, no flour. And then I was also intermittent fasting. So uh, I was I was still kind of using external ways to restrict because I just couldn't. Yeah, but on the raw food diet, I just am able to just be more natural.
Yeah, it's not as complicated like the food. Okay, remember, starch solution is complex carbohydrates, right? So it's a complex life you're living. You got to find all the sauces to make it taste good and the spices, and you got to cook it or microwave it or do all this stuff. But with the simple diet, which is the fruit-based diet, things are very simple. You don't need spices. You don't need to cook. You don't need recipes. Like Barbie and I don't make recipes. Like the biggest recipe Barbie makes is the mango hemp seeds and lemon, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's like gourmet, right, right. And so me too, I guess, sometimes I definitely, yeah, I do a lot of dressings that are more than that, but I would like to be more simple because the more simple the meal, the better you feel. And also the faster you heal. And that is a Doug Graham, um, partially Doug Graham quote. And it's really, really true. And I personally have really enjoyed talking to you, Barbie. Is there anything else you wanted to say about what your experience with the Star Solution or anything that Dr. McDougall has written about fruit that you really wanted to discuss or address?
Nope, just that when I always wanted more fruit when I was following those diets.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I remember I remember being on low carb diets. I remember being on
Mm,
high carb diets. I was actually on a similar to the starch solution, actually, now that I think about it, way back in the day. And whatever diet I was on, I was so unsatisfied because I just needed the fruit. And the raw vegan diet, truly, guys, is the only diet. And I tried them all, the zones, Weight Watchers, just like Barbie. Barbie's tried them all too. And the only diet that has worked for us has been this, the raw food diet, a fruit based diet. And it's working for millions of people. It really is. We just don't know about them. Okay. But if you go to a place like Woodstock Fruit Festival, you'll meet hundreds of people that are on it. And there's people all over the world that are finding that it's really the only thing that truly works and heals us and makes us feel good, makes us look good. And it's just so great for everything, the planet, the animals, us, the environment. There's literally no, is there any downside to the raw food diet?
That's a good question. No.
I'm trying to think of it. I mean, like you said, it's a learning curve in the beginning, but so is the starch solution, right?
Yeah.
Everything
Oh,
has a
yeah.
learning
Very
curve.
much. Yeah. Huh.
Is there any downside to a raw food diet? I mean, they all say like your teeth, it rots your teeth. Absolutely not true, because if that was true, then there would only be like only raw vegans would have teeth issues. And I'm pretty sure everyone has teeth issues in the world, right? Like I don't know one person that's you know, that's living a life with zero teeth issues. It's just very rare to find.
I guess some people would say it's hard socially, but I don't
Yes,
find it
that's
any
it.
harder than whole food plant based. But that's because
Yeah.
I was serious about whole food plant based and I was
Yeah.
really trying to follow it seriously.
Yes. Well, perhaps we'll do an episode on social eating, eating healthy socially, and because that is it. That's the hardest part, or the most negative part of the raw food diet. But it's not negative. Again, it's a learning curve, because yeah, you learn to make new friends, and you learn to set your boundaries, and you learn to where you can eat and where you can't eat. And listen, there's places in Miami here, Barbie, that literally we could go into, and I found places that you can order a papaya, and they'll bring you a cut up papaya. There's places with salads, there's places with smoothies, there's places with juice. I've eaten at many restaurants now, but you have to find them, right? You can't walk into a steakhouse and think you're gonna have a fucking papaya for dinner. It doesn't
Well,
work like that.
you do if you bring it.
Oh, right,
I
right,
I meet
right.
I meet a friend
Right.
at McDonald's every week, and
What?
well, I bring my food. I get to eat a wonderful
Whoa.
meal. She's a good friend.
That's you see? Yeah, well, McDonald's is the best because there's no waiters. So there's nobody to
Exactly.
fucking yeah, that's actually way better than a steakhouse. By the way,
Yeah.
Eli Martyrs said recently that he brought durian to a steakhouse. All his friends were eating steak
Wow.
and
Oh
he
my
was eating
gosh.
durian. Can you imagine? And
No.
the waiter came over and said he has to put it away because it smelled really, really bad.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? But anyway, thank you so much, Barbie. This has been awesome. I don't know if the listeners enjoyed it, but why don't you guys let us know if you did? Okay. You can leave a review, or you can message me. You can email me, jd@misfitvegan.com. If you liked this episode with me and the raw vegan Barbie, is it the or just raw vegan Barbie?
Just raw vegan Barbie.
Okay, okay. And yeah, if you guys liked it, we'll do another episode. If you guys didn't, we'll still do another episode. And I already have like a bunch of episodes. So if we do it again next week, Barbie, if you're interested, let's do a topic that you would like to discuss. Um, and yeah, I really like talking to you because you're awesome. You have lots of experience, and you came prepared with with the book, with the Starch solution. So thank you very much, Barbie. Anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you. Thank you for having me on. And it was fun chatting with you.
Yes. Oh, let's leave them. Let's leave them with some advice. What is your best advice on how to eat more fruit to be more cute?
Frozen bananas taste better than fresh if you're having a hard time with bananas.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And my tip for the day is don't don't worry about food combining. Don't stress it,
Mm,
boo. Don't stress it, boo. If you want to have frozen fruit after your salad, do it. If you want to have an avocado for breakfast, do it. If you want to have nuts with oranges, do it. You might not feel good, but do it. Do it. Okay? Because you got to live and you learn. And remember, Barbie, when you were making the transition, you were learning. Hey, this doesn't
mm-hmm.
work. This does. But you have to do it. You have to experiment. And I did too. I ate cashews for breakfast with like mandarin oranges once. And like that didn't work out too good, but I had to do it
Mm.
because, I had to know if that was going to work. So that's my advice. That's Barbie's advice. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, Barbie Boo.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.